Bruv, she's Basic Bushra. Average Abdul is confused and anxious. Basic Bushra used to respond to his text straight away, but now she's always busy or got caught up or some BS excuse. Something's off. Average Abdul tries harder. Now he sends texts confessing his undying love throughout the day. نموت عليك أحلى وردة. Basic Bushra takes hours to respond, and when she does, it's with some love heart or some crap like that. Exceptional Ilyas is hardly home, has multiple businesses to run, rarely if ever texts his wives, and yet all four of them revolve around his every beck and call like planets orbiting the sun. Plot twist. Basic Bushra is in Exceptional Ilyas's DM. Average Abdul feels hopeless. It's almost as though the harder he tries, the more uninterested in him Basic Bushra becomes. The story of Average Abdul and Basic Bushra, and how Basic Bushra has suddenly displayed a lack of interest in her Average Abdul husband or husband-to-be. And by the way, this can happen both before marriage or after marriage. This may be a story that you are familiar with in some way, shape or form of your intimate partner, your wife, maybe your girlfriend, hopefully your wife, become Muslim, brother or sister, suddenly pulling away from you and displaying a visceral lack of interest in you. Why? What's going on? And more importantly, what should you do as her husband, and maybe her boyfriend, as the man in this situation? You know, I don't even like making reference to boyfriend, big man thing. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Yeah, because it's haram. All right? And you need to become Muslim so you can get married, mate. There is an excellent book that I read a number of years ago during lockdown. And the title of this book is The Passion Trap. I forget the name of the authors, but if you type it on Amazon, it's a red book with yellow writing, I believe. It's called The Passion Trap. And this book was extremely enlightening, absolutely fascinating, and makes perfect sense with regards to how you can find yourself in this dynamic. And by the way, it can also happen to women as well. Women can also suddenly experience a lack of interest, noticeable lack of interest from their men. However, their situation is slightly different, and actually this is healthy for the relationship to a degree, and I'll explain to you why later on, before you ladies start kicking and screaming and throwing your tomatoes at me. You only throw your tomatoes because you know I'm right.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
And in this book, The Passion Trap, he gives a number of stories and anecdotes and accounts from his practice, but the common theme was this: when one party, be it the man or the woman, displays over interest, is too interested in the other party, let's say when the husband is more interested in his wife than vice versa, and it becomes a bit much, she suddenly feels the need to pull away, to withdraw a little. She's feeling suffocated. She's feeling trapped. She's feeling like,
where does all of this emotion come from? Why is he telling me he wants to give me the world? I barely know this guy. We've just known each other for a few weeks.
Or a few months, or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden he's willing to, Namut alaik, I will die for you and all that crap. Our pickup lines, bruv, they're nuts. So she needs to pull away. However, this ignites an anxious response in her husband. Basic Bushra's pulling away has ignited an anxious response in Average Abdullah, and now Average Abdul, he feels the need to overcompensate. He looks at her lack of interest as, oh, I'm not trying hard enough. Let me try harder.
Our survey said...
Big mistake. It's akin to throwing too much fuel on the fire. You need wood to burn a fire, but too much wood, too much coal, too much fuel will put the fire out. And that's exactly what you've done. What should you do? That is the subject of today's video, and I will give you the panacea. But before we do that, my name is Mahdi Tijani. If this is the first time you're coming across my channel, welcome! I am somewhat of a self-styled relationship expert. I haven't been married for coming on to 20 years now. I have a number of wives in my stable. It's not very nice, but you know what I mean. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So, you know, I got a few gems to share with you, mandem. So if you're enjoying this video, like it. And if you are interested in watching more videos along this vein, subscribe to the channel and make sure you switch your notifications on, especially the bell, so you can improve your relationship skills in your own private life. I got married at 16, had 3 children by 19. Can't remember how many kids by 25, quite a few. Alhamdulillah. Took a second wife at 25, took a third wife at 27. Now, something happened after I took the third wife on at 27. Bit off more than I could chew. I didn't have the necessary experience, knowledge, wisdom to be able to handle that situation in the way that it needed to be handled. Anyway, two of the wives suddenly withdrew themselves. And it got to a point now where both marriages with two of the wives, actually, it was basically on life support. When they pulled away, my immediate response was to try harder, and you know, oftentimes, wallahi al-azim, oftentimes it felt like I was on this guinea pig wheel, where I would run to the next goalpost and to the next one and to the next one and to the next one and to the next one, and they would be in a perpetual state of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. It was almost as though the harder I tried to please them, the more disinterested in me they became. Take notes. Now here's the real kicker. In both of those two women, both of them towards the end of the marriage made a point of letting me know that there were other men interested in them, willing to marry them, whilst they were still married to me. And one of them actually said, she actually said it to me when I checked her on this behavior. I said, what the hell is wrong with you? What are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? She said to me, I wanted to hurt you. She actually said that. I wanted to hurt you. And there's a number of lessons we can extract from this. First of all, women love to get a reaction out of you. Half of what they do is just to get a reaction out of you. They love it. As you can imagine, this threw me into a violent passion trap. A violent one down. And in fact, I have not described this properly yet, and I'll describe it now. And that is, in any relationship, you have a one up and a one down. Now, this balance tends to be in flux, but the one up is the one who is ever so slightly less interested in the one down. Now, in a healthy marriage, in a healthy relationship, the man, the husband, is one up and the wife is ever so slightly one down. And this is how it should be. This is actually healthy. Why? Well, because women are hypergamous. And you being slightly one up satisfies her hypergamous inclinations. That is, she looks up to you, both metaphorically and literally. She looks at you and thinks, wow, man, I'm such a lucky girl. I'm such a lucky lady to have this man, this wonderful husband. That is exactly the impact and effect you want to have on her. Women want men taller than them, stronger than them, more intelligent than them, earning more than them, etc., etc. By and large, no need to go to the exceptions. You understand what I'm saying? You never heard a woman say, you know what? I really want to marry a man weaker than me. I really want to marry a man dumber than me. Said no woman ever. Equally, however, and by extension, said no woman ever, I really want my man to be more into me than I am into him. And the only women who will say that are the narcissistic types who enjoy controlling their men. They love controlling their men more than they actually enjoy being in a marriage in the first place. Why? Because ultimately, the moment women have you wrapped around their little finger and in control of you, that's when they lose interest in you. That's when the kitty dries up, becomes like the Sahara Desert, and you're done out here. So the healthiest marriages are those where you are slightly less interested in her than she is in you. And this brings me to golden rule number 1. And that is, and to quote the late Patrice O'Neill, women hate how much they love you. There is a slight low-level resentment for how she feels towards you. And I'll explain to you why. One of my wives summarized this perfectly. She actually said to me, I mentioned this quote to her, this quote from Patrice O'Neill, and she said to me, he's absolutely right. And I said, how does that translate in your experience in dealing with me? And she proceeded to tell me,
I hate how much control you have over my emotions.
And initially I was slightly confused. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not out here trying to manipulate your emotions, bro. I'm hardly thinking about you, bro. I'm at work. I'm working all day long. And she was like, yes, exactly. That's the thing. You're hardly thinking about me. And I'm always thinking about you, and I resent that. And don't get me wrong, it's not like some type of toxic dynamic going on here. Don't get it twisted, okay? My wife's got a life as well. She's got her own things to do. However, she does spend more of her day thinking about me than I do about her. And this, by extension, has an impact and influence on her emotions. And it's not that she hates loving me, but she hates the fact that she doesn't have full autonomy over her own emotions. And that is why women hate how much they love you. But guess what? It's a poison they must drink if they want to be in a marriage, in a healthy marriage. Yes, it is healthy, whereby they are attracted to their husband, they look up to their husband, and they've got the blinders on. There's no other men in their line of vision that they are considering. How have I created that dynamic? I'll explain to you at the end. You're going to have to watch to the end of the video because it's actually on my notes, but I'm only going to tell you at the end. Now, you may be thinking, Mahdi, what would you have done differently in your previous marriages to have salvaged them? First of all, I don't believe they were salvageable. To like some relationships, there is no hope for them. This is why divorce is halal in Islam. It's permissible. It is what it is. Sometimes two parties have to go their separate ways. However, you may find yourself in a situation right now that is not as advanced as what I found myself in a few years back. And by extension, it is salvageable. And that is, you're feeling a bit anxious right now. You're feeling a bit more into your wife than she is into you. She's a little bit disinterested in you. What do you do? How do you fix this? What's the solution? What's the panacea? Use absence to increase honor and respect. One of the laws of the 48 laws of power. It is the reason why I have gone through chapter by chapter in my private community in the Jannah series. And you can see the link for that in the description underneath or in the top pinned comment of this video. It is the reason why I have given an extensive commentary on those laws and how they specifically pertain to getting the best out of women. Use absence to increase honor and respect. You have filled her vision with the sight of you for too much. If gold grew on trees, nobody would value it. Value is derived specifically through its lack, through its being scarce. Equally, if you want your wife to value you more than she is right now, you need to withdraw. This is going to go counter to what you want to do. You think in your mind that I need to impress her more. I need to take her on a trip. We need more quality time. Wal-'iyadhu billah. You are just chucking so many logs on the fire, bro. You're going to put that ish out. You're going to have nothing left at the end of it. You're just going to have a whole bunch of logs. And she's going to be gone. Just like the fire would be out, she'd be out. Pull away, withdraw, give her space, and do not ever explain why. I cannot emphasize this point enough. The lack of explanation will confuse her even further and consume more real estate in her mind as to why you have done this. Don't explain. Don't say to her, you know what, sweetheart, I watched Mahdi Tijani's video and I have decided I now need to withdraw. Now she's going to know that this is all you're just following a playbook. And women hate that. They want you to just deal with their emotions naturally. Make them feel like you're doing it naturally even if you're not. Yeah, we all know you're not, but it's fine. She doesn't need to know that, bro. Finesse the game. Play the game. Let her feel like you figured it out on your own. Withdraw. Don't explain. And when she complains, what's going on? You used to be more into me. You used to want to do things more. Just say, just busy, whatever. Just got things to do. That's it. Bellissimo. Works like magic. And that brings us on to golden rule number 2, which is she must be more into you than you are into her. This goes back to what we were talking about initially. One up, one down. Most healthiest marriages are the ones where the husband is ever so slightly one up than the wife. Not too much to the point now when this one hardly wants to, he's like repulsed by her, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. And one of the easiest ways to kill this dynamic, by the way, is to tell your wife, I can't understand why someone like you would want to be with someone like me. One of the biggest icks you could ever give a woman is to tell her that, because one day she will look at you and be like, you know what? You're right. I don't know why someone like me would want to be with someone like you, even if it is true, rude boy. She doesn't need, keep her in the bubble. Keep her in the bubble. Let her think that she's so lucky to have you, even if she's not. And objective reality is not important here. What's important is her own subjective reality. Because she is hypergamous. She wants to feel like she is with her superior. She wants to feel like she's lucky to have you. So, bro, sell the dream. Let her feel like she's lucky to have you. Even if she's not. Now, you may well find this difficult to implement this withdrawing business because naturally you want to love and give to her from your time and your attention and your affectation and all the rest of it. And what I will tell you is this: do all of that, but love her, treat her, do nice things for her from a position of strength, from a position of power, and with a level of detachment from the outcome. This is very difficult because when you give, we often usually expect to receive in some way, shape or form. And I'm not telling you that you should not expect to receive anything from her, because she should be reciprocating your love and affection and so on. However, there needs to be a level of detachment in your heart from the outcome. Let me ask you a question. If you are in a marriage right now and you love your wife and you see yourself being with her for a lifetime, I need to ask you a question that you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself. Are you able to look her in the eye, say nothing, look her in the eye, tell her you love her, but know deep down in your soul that the likelihood of you making it together as a married couple to the end of your lives is not guaranteed? Are you able to look at her and keep that thought in your mind without banishing it completely, without rejecting and no, we're going to be together forever? Are you able to do that? Because that is your reality. And this thought in your mind will give you a healthy level of detachment from the outcome, will give you a healthy level of detachment from her. And guess what? When you have this healthy level of detachment from the outcome and from her, that only makes her slip more deeply in love with you. Now, when you first pull away, if you are one down in this dynamic, you will find yourself constantly thinking about her nonstop. It's going to be really difficult. And the simplest solution to this problem is to throw yourself into your mission. What's your mission? What mission are you on right now in your professional life? If you don't have a mission, that's okay. Maybe you haven't found it yet. Step one, start investigating and exploring and identifying what your mission is, because us men, we need missions. It's the only way we are able to function healthily, when we have a set of healthy problems in front of us to solve in a professional sense, in our professional lives. If you don't have that right now, start exploring what is your mission. It could take you a few years to find it, by the way. It took me a number of years for me to find mine. Number two, do extra hours or something. Just work more, work out more. You need to keep this here, this matter in between your two ears, preoccupied and busy in a healthy manner. This is the only way you're going to be able to hold yourself from slipping back into the passion trap and suffocating her with your quote unquote love. It's actually not love. It's a selfish love. It's I'm feeling needy right now. Please give me. It's a selfish love, and women hate it. If you enjoyed this video, I suggest you watch this one here. It was a reaction to Myron from Fresh and Fit when he did an interview with Cheyenne from Just Grilling. And he mentioned to her that he will never love a woman. And part of that is because men fear so viscerally falling into a one-down dynamic with women. I address his statements and give the solution as to how you can both love a woman and remain in a one-up dynamic. You can watch that video right here.